Hi all, my name is Philip Ryan. I'm an ag science and biology teacher. I've been teaching now for over 15 years and I've also worked for the State Exams Commission as an examiner. And in recent years, I've been putting together and presenting ag science and biology revision courses. The purpose of this little clip is to, I suppose, try and offer you a little bit of insight into exam technique. I'm sure you've all had that feeling where you've come out of an exam, you've thought, you know what, that didn't go too bad, only to be disappointed a couple of weeks later when you get the grade back and it's not what you're hoping for. You've been studying hard, you've done enough work, you knew your content, but you're just not getting the grade. It's a classic case, guys, of you're a little shy on the exam technique, okay? And that's what I'm hoping to tackle here today. You could be just missing or leaving out key words. You could be just not fully understanding what the question is asking you, or quite often you're just not writing enough different points. That's a common problem with the ag science paper. So, question 9 I'm going to use to try and highlight some exam technique. Question 9 is the last question on the paper of a year, as you're aware. It's the one that makes reference to give scientific explanations for. Now, my experience is sometimes students don't warm to this question initially. Maybe it's a case you don't like the term scientific explanation. You think it's going to involve some sort of complicated stuff. That's not the case, okay? I really, really am a big fan of this question. When they ask for scientific explanation, they're just dropping the hint. Be detailed, mention that hormone by its correct name. Give us the temperature or the pH. Okay, refer to things, use the keywords, refer to things by their correct name, and so on. Okay. You only have to do 4 from 5. In other words, there is internal option or choice within this question, which is great. Okay. As a teacher, of course, I'm going to tell you to attempt all 5 options, but trust me, your best 4, of course, will be marked. Now, question 9 is worth 48 marks, same as every other question in the paper, with the exception of question 1. Which is worth 60 marks. But anyway, back to question 9. 48 marks for question 9. You have to do any 4. That tells me then part A, for example, is worth 12 marks. Okay, for 12 marks, you're going to have to make at least 3 points. Okay, 12 marks, let's put that into context. That's worth more than your farm maps. That's worth more than your animal project was worth. They're not going to give you 12 marks just for saying one thing. And that's the biggest mistake students make. You go in there, it's the last last question of possibly your last exam, and you write down one thing and you think, you know what, that's grand. That's not grand, okay? You'll be punished for that in that regard. Make 3 points for every one of your question 1 parts, okay? It's really important. You'll see that now in a little while. The best practice here on this question is to use bullet points. If not just on question 9, I would be doing it throughout the whole paper myself. Why? Because as a student, it offers you great structure, great clarity, and as you're working through your question, you'll be able to keep track of how many different points you're making, and that's so important that you're not repeating the same thing again. If you use bullet points, you'll find it less likely that you're going to end up repeating yourself. You'll cut out the waffle. The truth is, come July, examiners are correcting these papers. They're correcting maybe up to 300 scripts per examiner or thereabouts. They don't want to be sifting through paragraphs looking for the key term. Give it to them in bullet points. Keep them on board. It's easier for you. It's easier for them. When you're reviewing your script before you hand it up at the end of the exam session, again, it's easier for you to check everything if it's done neatly in bullet points. There's no negative marking on this paper, so anything goes, and that's particularly true with question 9. Now, anything goes within reason. Obviously, the information you're presenting has to be relevant to the question, but I wouldn't get too focused on question 9 when the why, the how, etc. If we'll work through a few examples now in a second. But if you have knowledge or information that is in any way linked to the topic that's featured in the question, I'll be lashing it down. You won't be punished for it. You'll only be rewarded for it. Okay. So 2017 question 9, let's take a look at that one. So give scientific explanations for, and we'll look at question A here. The influence of the environmental temperature on the weight gain of pigs. Okay, what do I know? After 3 years studying, whatever the case may be, what do I know about temperature and weight gain in pigs? Okay, first things first. I've done a bit of study, I know that the temperature that the pig is housed at may affect its FCR, its food conversion ratio. Boom, I'm going to lash that down. 2, am I going to just talk about temperature and keep talking about temperature, or am I actually going to give a specific temperature? I'm going to give a specific temperature. So for example, in the fattener house, I know the temperature, required critical temperature, the optimum temperature, there's the terminology again, there's the key terms, the language, there's your scientific terminology again, that the optimum or critical temperature should be 22 degrees Celsius for the finisher or fattener pigs. Okay, unlike the first stage weaner pigs, 24 degrees Celsius would be a critical or optimum temperature. My point is, give the specific temperatures. What else do I know? I know I have to work towards 3 different points. I have that in my head. I've only made 2 there so far. Can I come up with a third one? Yes, I can. I know that any animal that's shivering or sweating, pigs included, represents a loss of energy or a waste of energy that could have gone into live weight gain as opposed to maintaining body temperature. Okay, so there's my 3. I'm happy enough. I'm going to move on. Conscious of time, I'm going to move to part C, the low earthworm population in intensively cultivated soils. This is a really good question to focus on here. I could make the mistake of just dealing with why I might have low earthworm populations. And you know what? I might be fine. Okay, let me see. What do they need? What do they feed on? They feed on organic matter. So maybe there's low earthworm populations because of a lack of organic matter. I know that they like moist but not waterlogged conditions. So maybe if there's drainage issues, I might have low earthworm populations. The point I want to make is here, I can't ignore this part of the question. The question is linking low earthworm populations specifically to intensively cultivated soils. So that makes me think about tillage soils. Okay, so maybe a lot of fertilizer going out on intensively cultivated land. Therefore, the fertilizer may have an acidifying effect, making the soil pH less suitable. Let's not just talk about pH, let's give a pH that's not suitable. So earthworm's optimum pH would be around the 6.3, 6.5 range. So I'm going to say unsuitable pH, e.g. below 6. Okay, there's a point. Intensively cultivated soils, crop being harvested every year, straw possibly removed as bales, no organic matter being returned back to the soil, less slurry, less dung, less straw being chopped, etc., etc. So the lack of organic matter. Okay, what else? Cultivations, ploughing, harrowing, rotivating, etc. Sowing, compaction. Okay, keyword compaction. Any of those terms is going to lead to a lower earthworm population. It's really important you just provide a little bit of context and a little bit of, I suppose, to validate your points. You know, say that heavy machinery, repeatedly ploughing, plough pans, rotivators, etc., is going to reduce the earthworm population. One more there, we'll do part D, the presence of grit in the digestive tract of free-range poultry. Why would free-range chickens have grit in their digestive tract? Okay, again, a little bit of study required here, but chickens have grit in their digestive tract. I always teach it as the G for grit, G for grind, G for grain. They have the grit to grind the grain. And why? What do you and I, what do most animals have in order to grind anything? We use our teeth. You've heard the expression about as rare as hen's teeth. Okay, there's your answer. And I'd state that. State the obvious. Start your answer, your first point. Poultry do not have teeth. Okay? They have grit, which is used to grind the grain in their gizzard. There's the other G. Grit, grain, grind, gizzard. Okay? Anyway, there's the marking scheme for that question 9. The point here I want to focus on here is any 3. Okay? 3 fours is 12. So that was fine. My point there about you've got to be making 3, but you can fall into the trap of looking at marking schemes in the past and going to yourself, well, do you know what? In this particular year, there was only 2 points required, okay? Or this particular year, 2 6s got me my 12 marks, okay? Dangerous territory though. As you've seen here, they're looking for 3 4s, and in other years, again, down here, again, 3 different points required. Now, 2014 is interesting. What do you notice here? Okay, they're giving you 10 marks for your first correct answer. Okay, that would indicate to me, okay, that year group, the paper was perceived to have been difficult perhaps, and when it came to marking it, they heavily rewarded students for making even 1 correct answer. So the student that gave the second or third point only gained an extra 2 marks, but you won't notice at the time. So again, the takeaway message here is you've got to be making the 3 different points. Look here, 2008, very contrasting, okay? The student that only gave 1 correct answer this year only got 3 out of 12 marks. If we go back to that year, the student that gave 1 correct answer got 10 out of 12 marks, okay? So see the difference in marking schemes, okay? In this year, the student that gave 2 and then 3 different points, they got heavily rewarded for going to that extra last third point, okay? You gave 1 correct answer, you got 3 out of 12. 2 correct answers, you got 6 out of 12. And if you get 3 correct points, you got your 12 out of 12 marks, okay? What that means is, guys, my advice to you is always aim for a minimum of 3 marks, okay? And you'll be safe in relation to question 9. Listen, that's more or less it from me. My contact information is there, reviseagscience@gmail.com. You'll find me on Facebook or Instagram by searching simply for Revise Ag Science. Just to say, I hope to do more of these free online help videos, so stay tuned for more of those. I am also running online revision courses, and again, more details are up on those pages, or contact me if you're interested in those online revision courses, also now available. And I'll leave you with this, a random ag science fact. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been of help to you, and best of luck.